County Public School System, considered one of the finest educational environments in the entire state of Alabama, has a history beginning in the latter part of the 18th century, when, as records indicate, Alabama's first public schoolhouse was built in the North Baldwin County community of Tensas in 1799. And at that time, nearly 10 years prior to Baldwin being organized as a county, the area remained geographically expanse. Agriculture served as king, and family farms dotted every section of the county. And in this era of extremely limited highway systems, individual communities built their own respective public schoolhouses, with the Board of Education supplying teachers to provide instruction. In the early part of the 20th century, the Baldwin County Public School System boasted over 80 separate school districts, each with their own individual public schoolhouse. And as time progressed, marked with improvements in transportation and engineering, numerous school districts were consolidated into nearby areas, leaving us today with very few of the original and historic public schoolhouses which distinguished Baldwin County, beginning in 1799, as the birthplace of Alabama's first public schoolhouse. This documentary, commissioned by the Honorable County Commissioners of Baldwin County and honorable members of the Baldwin County Board of Education, seeks to illuminate these few remaining and historic original public schoolhouses in an effort to pay tribute to one of the finest public school systems in Alabama. Education in the South Baldwin County community of Orange Beach has a rich history, beginning with the first school in the area, which was a one-room schoolhouse that operated from 1910 to 1914. This building has become a National Historic Site and is now the Indian and Sea Museum of Orange Beach. The students of Orange Beach attended school in Foley and then Gulf Shores from 1914 until a new elementary school was constructed in 1997.
Today, if you go to the city complex in Orange Beach, where the city hall is, you will just be aghast and taken by the beautiful building that's there on that campus. At first look, it looks like a church, and many people mistake it for a church, but actually the building there is the original school that served Orange Beach community, built in 1910. Built by the Callaways and other families that lived in that area. It served those children until it was consolidated and the children started going to Foley High School, Foley School in the 1920s. The building itself, a one-room wooden building with a steep roof line and a gorgeous belfry, served those children there, seen in an early photograph in the 1910 era. After the building was no longer used as a school, the church used it, and it was maintained there on the bayfront for many years and served as for many different purposes there in Orange Beach, until the city agreed to use it as their city museum. And it was moved to the city complex and beautifully, painstakingly restored to almost its original condition. The front door, many people who are alumni say that the front door was actually in the back at that time and that the building is reversed now, but you can still see the original woodwork, the walls, and the many of the artifacts that are actually there in the museum were from the original teachers that were there. And the residents there tell us that some of their families, of course, descended from these teachers, because as Mr. Callaway would go and get new teachers to come and be the teachers there in their community school, they would end up marrying one of those good-looking Callaway boys. And that was, jokingly in the community, that's one of the reasons that they decided to consolidate the school with Foley. The community there has just such an outstanding heritage of living and sustenance living from the land. It amazes many people to realize there was not even electricity in this area until the 1960s. And many, many people who are living there now can remember when the bridge was built and how hard it was to get from the island over into Foley because of the drawbridge being up and down, and how hard it was to get a bridge tender there. There were other schools in the Pleasure Island area. There was the Gulf Shores. There was a school at Gulf Shores. There was one at Fort Morgan for a while. There was a Navy Cove school, and there was the Shell Bank School that has many wonderful stories. The only preserved building we have on the island, however, is this magnificent example of a community coming together to build a school, going out, finding the teachers, bringing the teachers in. The teachers were paid by the county for maybe 2 months or 3 months of the year, and the local community hired the teacher many times to teach longer than that. We are so fortunate to have a community that's cared enough about not only the building, but the heritage and the artifacts that were used, that you can visit today and share in this beautiful treasure that we have, thanks to this wonderful group of people who have maintained this for the future.
Orange Beach Indian Sea Museum, which was the first school in Orange Beach, and now it's the first museum in Orange Beach. It was built in 1910 by James Calloway and some of the other Walker boys, just like Earl was saying. Everybody jumped in to build it. And my mother finished her last year in here as school, and she said she can remember going the 4 months out of the year of either freezing your buns off or burning them up in here, because it had no air conditioning, no fans. There was no window screens on the windows. The bugs came in, and it was hard to keep teachers here because every time a teacher came, they would have to be single, and they would end up marrying one of those Calloway boys because they were so good looking, and great-grandpa Calloway would have to go back and try to find another teacher, and after 4, he gave up. So then Uncle Amon went to Louisiana, bought the school bus, and brought it back, and they bused the kids to school. Everybody